Communication. Communication. The word communication is derived from a Latin word communicare, meaning to share. Thus, communication is the sharing and exchange of information, thoughts, ideas and feelings through signs and symbols. Communication is the use of different mediums to exchange information. The medium includes writing or just speaking. Communication is a two-way process. There is always a sender and a receiver. Our world today may be called a global village because the fastest means of communication have made the world a smaller place to live in. Today, we have faster means of communication which have brought people closer to each other. In the olden days, horses, pigeons and signals were used for sending and receiving messages. These messages took a long time to reach. With the invention of telegraph, sending and receiving messages became easier, quicker and more reliable. A great revolution took place in the field of communication when telephone was invented by Alexander Graham Bell in 1876. It was the quickest means which allowed two people to speak to each other directly. Now we can speak to people in different states and countries through the subscriber trunk dialing (STD) and international subscriber dialing (ISD) facilities respectively. It has become possible due to communication satellites. Messages can be conveyed to people living across the seas within the fraction of a second. Types of communication. When we talk to others or write to them, communication takes place between us. But for such a communication, language is essential. Communication with the help of words is known as verbal communication. Similarly, when we meet our friends, we shake hands with them. This also conveys some meaning. This is an example of a communication without any use of words and is called non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication may be visual, oral or gestural. Sometimes you look into some pictures, graphs, symbols, diagrams, etc. and some messages are conveyed to you. Means of communication. There are various means through which we communicate with each other. These may be called the means of communication. Nowadays, modern technology has given us wide options to choose the means of communication according to our requirement and liking. Let us discuss some of the important means of communication commonly used in our life. Letter. Letters brought about the first big change in the field of communication. People can send various forms of letters, parcels, money orders, etc. through post office. In recent years, post offices have started speed post, tele money orders, etc. Courier services are also like speed post with a higher cost and personal touch. Telephone. In 1876, Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone, which has made communication much easier in all parts of the world. It is the fastest means of communication. Cellular phone. Using cell phones, we can talk to any person, anywhere at any time. They can be carried easily. They have become very popular these days. Messages can be sent through them. Web browsing and email can also be done on them. Fax. Alexander Bain invented the fax machine. A fax machine is used to send a printed matter or picture. The exact copy of the document reaches the receiver instantly. Email. Electronic mail, commonly called email, is a method of exchanging digital messages across the internet or other computer networks. Originally, email was transmitted directly from one user to another's computer. That required both computers to be online at the same time. Today's email systems are based on a store and forward model. Email is quicker and cheaper than a telephone call. A limited edition of services is free for using the emails. Mass media. In addition to these means of communication, there are other means which address a wider audience. These means of communication are called Mass communication. Newspaper and magazines. The printed word through books, magazines, newspapers and journals was among the first means of mass communication. Through printed matter reached a lot of people, it had a big disadvantage that only literate people could read it. Radio. It was radio that revolutionized mass communication. News, educational programs and music could be heard and enjoyed by all. People came closer and a sense of awareness was created about what was going on all over the world by radio broadcast. Cinema. Cinema has proved to be a boon for the people in the field of entertainment. It has influenced the life of countless people. Social themes presented through cinema have a greater impact on the people than the radio. The first film was shown on screen in the year 1895. International film festivals are held to share good films from different countries. Thus, people come to understand the lifestyle, values and problems of other people. Television. However, it is the television with audio-visual capacity that remains the most popular and influential means of communication. We can see the programs of music, dance, news, sports, movies and many more in the comfort of our own drawing room without going out to the cinema hall. The television was invented by John Logie Baird in the year 1926, which made the whole world accessible. A live telecast of an event like a conference, cricket match or a variety programs can be viewed by the people even as it is happening, making it more interesting. Internet. In general sense, an internet is a computer network that connects several other networks. The art of connecting networks in this way is called internetworking. It has become the most popular means of communication in the recent days. Social media, blogs, websites, etc. are some of the important mass communication tools of Internet. Kindle. A Kindle is an electronic device for downloading, storing and reading electronic books known as e-books. It was developed by a company called Lab 126, which is a subsidiary of Amazon.com. The Kindle has instant wireless access to Amazon.com and has a huge number of e-books, over 1,15,000 and growing. You can read newspapers, subscribe to magazines and blogs, and even play audio files such as MP3 or audiobook. Communication satellites. Satellites are sent into outer space by rockets. They revolve around the Earth. They pick up signals from one Earth station and transmit them around the world. Satellite communication has brought people closer. Incidents happening anywhere in the world are no longer isolated. They can be viewed by people all over the world. Thus, mass communication, especially through satellites, is fast working towards the creation of one world. Communication satellites have made it possible to connect people across continents on the phone, internet, TV, etc. All these kinds of communication are very useful to us and they must be used for the benefit of mankind.